Hello everyone, wish you a very good morning. I'm Kanika Kumar, a special educator and the founder of Minds That Matter. Today I am in conversation with Miss Pratibha Singh. She has her masters in clinical psychology and is a board certified behavior analyst. She has 6 years experience providing ABA based services to children with who are diagnosed with autism spectrum disorders. She has also gained valuable experience in staff training, parent training, data recording and analyzing, and today she will be talking about applied behavioral analysis. So please join me in welcoming her. Hi Pratibha.
Hi. Hi, Kanika. Good morning.
Okay, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay, so I'm going to dive right in.
Okay.
Pratibha, please help us understand what is ABA.
Okay. So ABA stands for Applied Behavior Analysis. And as the name suggests, we analyze behavior to bring about desired changes in the behavior of learners or of any human being. So
Okay.
in in ABA, we work with human behavior, and ABA defines behavior as something a person can say or can do. So this
Okay.
is what we consider as behavior. Parents sometimes think that behavior is like only when they are engaging in crying or when they're hitting someone, that is something that they call behavior, which is not the case. ABA can help you change any behavior which you can observe or you can
Okay.
measure. So behavior
Okay.
has to be something that is observable. For example, if I say that, oh, this child is upset, so the definition of upset can be different for you and can be different for me. It is very subjective.
Okay.
ABA is very objective. It needs to define behavior so that when you look at it, I look at it, or someone else looks at it, they all understand it in the same way.
Okay.
So that is what, and we use lots of principles. There are three principles in ABA. I will
Mm-hmm.
talk about only the first one, which should be used the most. It
Okay.
is the principle of reinforcement, in which we um, work on increasing the desired behavior or any behavior that we want to increase. And ABA can be worked with anyone. As I said, it is behavior, so it can be worked with you. I can apply it on myself, I can apply it on my parents, and people sometimes use it in organizations,
Okay.
so it can be
So,
used anywhere. Yeah.
so there's no particular age range also. We can use it with any age group, children,
No,
adults.
no, there is no adult range for this because it's a behavior, right? And all human beings engage in
Right.
behavior. We all say things, we all do things. I can change my behavior of anything. If Just say an example, if I'm doing this live with you, if I get a positive response, my behavior of doing such talks will increase because I'm
Right.
getting positive feedback. So that is my behavior of conducting these live chats. So this will
Right.
go up, and that's ABA. It's available. It's like it's applied everywhere. It's just that people are not aware of the concepts, and that is why they think that it's only applied in the field of autism because there is a lot of literature in there.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was going to ask you if it can be used with the people who do not have autism, but you already answered that it can be used
Yeah.
with anyone. The
Yes, with anyone.
individual may or may not have a diagnosis, but we can use it with anyone. So,
Yes, yes.
Pratibha, what can you mention some of the techniques so that we understand what is actually done in ABA?
Yeah, so what we do in ABA is we try to analyze behavior, and how we do it is like it is a very evidence-based science. We collect some data, and we
Mm-hmm.
believe that behavior does not happen in isolation. There is
Right.
something which happens before the behavior that can trigger that response, or there's something that happens after that behavior, which can change the future probability of that behavior, which means the behavior can increase or the behavior can go down. So
So
by
you're talking
doing,
about the antecedent and the consequence.
yes, yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
I like how you may simplified it without using the complicated terms.
Yeah, that's why I was like going for these words not to confuse. So what
Right.
we, yeah, so we try to change these two variables, because if something which is happening before the behavior is going to change the behavior, then I can change that environment or that antecedent, as you identified it correctly, to bring about the change in the behavior.
Right.
So a very simple example from day-to-day life is, like, I like to cook, right? And if I enter the kitchen and if the kitchen is a complete mess, my motivation to go and bake or to go and cook will be very less, right?
Right.
The same example I can give with our kids who are on spectrum or who needs extra help. If they are planning to, we are planning to give them some work, for example, to clean up their room. Rather than giving them a room which is complete mess, I can ask them to clean only the bed,
Right.
to make their bed, or just to put their toys in the box.
So basically,
So
you're saying that breaking it down into small pieces, which is actually possible to do, so that they don't
yes,
get overwhelmed that there is way too much to do.
yes. So I'm not putting them for failure. I'm putting them for success.
Right.
By being with them, I know what their potential is, how many responses can they do, or how long can they engage in a task for, on the like according to the child's skills or his level. I will put the number of demands.
Right. Right.
So in ABA we call this demand fading,
Okay.
reducing the number of demands beforehand so that the child does not engage in undesired behavior or does not engage in running away. So this is what we call. Yeah.
So,
And the
Pratibha,
second,
just one thing I want to check. The examples which you are giving are from our daily life and they're not particular to any specific setting. Some
yes,
of them are examples of what happens in our house. So, does this mean that ABA can be used in any setting? It does not necessarily have to be a clinical setting. It can be a school setup. It can be a house setup.
so there are two approaches that are used by behavior analysts. One is, there are like much more, but there are two which are most commonly used. One is DTT and the second one is NET. First one is discrete trial training, which is like you do a lot of tabletop work, you try to put
Okay.
cards in front of the learner and uh, they like point to it, they do lots of matching, those kind of skills. In natural environment training, NET, we have like working in a natural environment. So
Okay.
it can be done in the school, it can be done at home, and it can be done in the playground also. uh,
Wow.
for Because of COVID, we used to work in a nursery setup where kids used to
Okay.
come, and we were working on inclusion also, and we,
Hmm.
if required, we used to do 1:1 also. And
Hmm.
because of COVID, the kids couldn't come, so we have started going home, and we are training parents.
Okay.
So yes, it can be done in any setup. You need not require any special um, um environment or any special structure to do ABA.
Okay. So,
Uh,
is there like, is, as the name suggests, it's applied behavior analysis, so it focuses only on behavior. But is there any other skill that is developed during the ABA therapy sessions?
it's very interesting because I said that behavior is something that a person can do or say.
Right.
So if you can define any skill into those behavioral terms, I can work on it. For example, if a child doesn't sit in the class
Right. Right.
and he keeps running, so if I define that behavior as I will increase the duration of this child sitting. So sitting is a behavior.
Right, right.
So I will work on the duration of this child sitting in the class for a longer duration. The other thing, if I want the child to work on more eye contact, so I can define that in a behavioral term. Like the child will look in this direction, will look for these many minutes.
Right.
So I can work on any skill using ABA, be it communication, be it play skills, joint attention, sitting, um, taking turns,
Uh-huh.
waiting, toilet training,
Wow.
ADS, like you name any skill that you want to work on and we can teach it through ABA.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm glad you picked up the first example about sitting, because these days a lot of parents are facing this challenge that due to online learning, the children are either not willing to sit and start the session, or during the session they get restless, and because there are more than one session, there are multiple sessions, so it becomes very difficult for the child to sit through all of those sessions. So can you give some suggestions for what a parent might do in such a situation? I understand that
Yeah.
the parents are not trained behavior analysts, but
Yes.
anything that could help them.
Yeah. Yeah. So when we engage in a behavior, there's a reason for that behavior.
Right.
And for humans, it has been categorized into two functions, which is like either to get something or to avoid something.
Right.
When I'm having this conversation with you, we are exchanging information, right?
Right.
I want to have this experience, you want to have this knowledge of ABA. And
Right.
the second thing, if I like sometimes we engage in behaviors like it's too hot, I will run away from the sun. So I'm engaging in a behavior of getting away. So the same thing is with our learners. If we identify that why is this child engaging in this behavior? Is it something which
Mhm.
is distracting and he is going to get that item? Or is it like he's running away to avoid the class? If I figure that out, on the basis of that, I can have a plan for the child. Which can be like if he's trying to avoid the class and
Mhm.
he's engaging in running and like throwing things just to communicate that he doesn't want to attend the class. What I can do is first I can give a replacement behavior for that. I can teach the child to say, I want a break,
Right,
right?
right.
And also I can do a little bit of management. Like I take a duration of like if after every 5 minutes he's walking away,
Mm-hmm.
I give a break on my own at the fourth minute so that the child feels that I don't
Mm-hmm.
have to run away. My parents are giving me a break. They intentionally take him for a break, a 1 minute break or 2 minute break, and then bring him back. So, this way, the child will be motivated enough to come back because
Right.
he did not reach that frustration level that he had to run away. And then the parents are also like, no, you have to go and sit. Because the break that he took for himself was something that he did not enjoy that break because parents were forcing him to come back to sit down. On the other hand, if we change it in such a way that I am the one who's giving you the break and you enjoy these 2 minutes and then you come back, so that way
Right.
the behavior will be reinforced. We call it positive reinforcement, where
Right. Right.
you engage in a appropriate behavior. I'm giving you what you wanted. He wanted a break, right? So I'm giving you a break. So this is
Uh-huh.
something which parents can do, and they can give a break on their own by taking a duration of like if the child is sitting, and then gradually increase the duration. So initially start with what the learner can do, reinforce that. What happens with as parents and as therapists, we have our own goal. Like I want the child to sit for 10 minutes, but we forget that the child is sitting only for 2 minutes. So this is a
Right.
huge gap for the child to maintain, like from 2 minutes to 10 minutes. This is
Right. Right.
this is not possible. We are putting the child for failure. We have to be very careful and we have to increase duration very systematically and very gradually.
It's
So
very
this is
important
one
to set
technique we can use.
realistic goals as per the child's ability.
Yes, yes. And that is one thing about ABA, that it has to be individualized
Mm-hmm.
as per the child's skills. You cannot have like, oh, I learned this trick, I'm going to apply this trick to each and every child. It doesn't work like that. We have
Okay.
to assess the child. Whenever a child gets into an ABA program, there is an assessment, and in the basis of that, we make goals for that child. And using the child's strengths, we teach other skills.
Right.
For example, if the child likes to play with balls, I don't, and I want my agenda for the child is to teach him colors. I don't have to go sit on a tabletop and show him cards. This is red, this is green, this is blue. Within that activity only, I can teach him colors. He likes to throw balls. I can give him instruction: throw the ball, throw the green ball,
Right.
throw the red ball. So in that activity only, I am creating opportunity for the child to learn and to make it fun.
Right.
Sometimes we forget
That
that
way they
learning
would
has to
respond
be fun
better.
for our kids.
Right.
Yes,
True.
yes. So that their motivation is too high. They want to work with us rather than us forcing them to work with us.
Right, right. I had once used something like this to teach phonics to one of my students. He was obsessed with dinosaurs. And just teaching a child on a daily basis apple is
Mm-hmm.
very boring. And nobody would be interested. So what I did was I found out a book which had dinosaur names from every letter of the alphabet. And then he was so engaged, he really enjoyed it. And with kids what happens is sometimes they
Yeah.
when some strategy or a technique clicks with them, they actually enjoy doing it more than once. So
Yes,
I feel
yes,
that
yes.
it's you are
So
right when you
I'm
say
sure
that it's
because we
really
are,
important to find out what the child is interested in, so that no matter what our goal is, we teach it in a way that is fun for the child. I
yes,
think, yeah.
yes.
Right. Pratibha, can you hear me? My screen is showing that it's loading. Okay, now I can see you. Can you hear me? Pratibha, can you hear me? Please say something so I know that you can hear me. I can't hear you. Can you hear me? No, even I can't hear you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect you and reconnect you. Okay? So stay on Instagram. I'm going to reconnect you. I'm so sorry everyone for the network issue, but these things are not in our hands. Thank you for your patience. Pratibha is reconnecting. And now can you hear me, Pratibha? Sorry everyone, we're just having a few connection issues. Just give us a few seconds, we should be able to get the speaker back on. While we're trying for Pratibha to connect back, I just wanted to highlight that as Pratibha had mentioned, that it's important to find out what is motivating a particular behavior. To be able to do that, it is crucial that you are very observant. Observe what is motivating the child's behavior. The behavior might be positive or it might be negative. Like she said, that they are behaving a certain way to get something or to avoid something. So you need to observe it to be able to analyze it. And I'm happy that Pratibha is back on so she can continue. Please take over, Pratibha.
I really like the way you're explaining it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, yeah, what I was saying was like there's a shift in the field right now. Like initially, it used to be a lot of structured and on tabletop activities, but right now people are finding that having more play-based activities
Mm-hmm.
and having more natural environment, using the natural environment is much more. There's a research which says that like there's much more participation, there's much more willingness from the kids, and the effect of ABA is also positive.
Right.
Sometimes kids, like ABA has got a lot of bad name also, in not only in India, across the globe.
And why is
People,
that?
like you will find, you will, because it is comparatively a new field,
Okay.
and
So there must
there
be
are
some
different people who,
limitations for there to be a negative chatter about it, right? Are there, what are the
it's a part,
limitations?
yeah, the limitation is that to work as a certified boards analyst, you have to have a certain amount of experience,
Okay.
a certain degree of experience that you need to have, and which includes 3 to 4 years of working under someone's supervision. And due to the lack of those supervisors, especially in India,
Uh-huh.
people are doing as per they understand what ABA is.
Right, right. And
So
then it
you
wouldn't
you
be as
can't control,
effective.
yeah, so you can't control how they are running it, and they try to do their best. I'm not saying that they should not be, but they, if we can have more, they can get some supervisors to work under them, it will be very good. Like we'll be able to change the name or the look for ABA that some people have got. Yeah.
Okay, so we spoke
So,
about the
and so,
limitations. What about the benefits of ABA? It does it completely
the
change the behavior? How long does it take? Is it always effective?
uh, so in ABA we are working with human behavior,
Right.
and our behavior changes within seconds. So it is a pro also, and it is one of the limitations also, that you have to always continue to observe are there any changes
Uh-huh.
in the undesired manner. But the positive is like you can work with anyone. There's no limitation of age, gender, where they are living,
Mhm.
their race. There's no limitation of that. Second, it is
Just a second,
like you
Pratibha.
can teach.
About the point that you just mentioned, there's a question that Ruchi Dhaya has asked. She's asking that ABA is basically about human beings, or can the same principles be used for training our pets? So, would you say this is a limitation, working with pets?
I don't think it is a limitation because, as I said in the beginning, it is ABA can be worked with any behavior. So all the living organisms
Okay,
engage in behavior.
right.
So we can change their behavior, and animals also we can use ABA to change their behaviors,
Wow. Okay.
because it is the concept of reinforcement. Any behavior I want to change, I give a reinforcement. I give an edible or I give a toy, so the child or your pet would want to engage in that behavior again and again. So it's
Right.
very simple. Even social media is also using ABA. We are just not aware of it.
Really, how
Here
can
the
you give me an
reinforcement.
example to understand how social media uses it?
Yes, yes. So these milestones or the number of likes work as preferred items, or work as reinforcers for us.
Right, right,
The more likes I get, the more I will post.
right, right.
So that like button or the heart button is a reinforcer for me, and I go and see how many people have liked. So my behavior of engaging in that behavior of scrolling or going and checking again and again how many people have liked my story or have liked my post is a concept of ABA.
Right,
And
right.
there are certain milestones that that you get, like you might get a blue tick on Insta, or you might get 500k subscriber on
Yes.
YouTube. So all these are big reinforcers which
Right, right.
which motivate them to continue to engage in such behaviors
True,
of
true.
posting videos, making these. So it's everywhere. You cannot, I don't think you can remove ABA from any of the fields. You people in marketing, they use ABA a lot. They know what we want. They collect our data. There's a lot of debate going on, like um, people are selling data of consumers to attract
Oh,
them to
yes,
those
yes.
kind of.
Right. And
Yes,
I
so
think
that
even
is also it. They're
advertising
collecting
heavily
the.
uses the principles of ABA because they know which audience to target. For selling a particular
Yes,
product, the kind of ads they make, they want to appeal to a child. Because a
yes,
child would
yes.
be badgering their parents that I want this, I want this, I want this. So in a way, that too is understanding the
Yes.
psychology and principles of ABA.
Yes, yes, it is. You have said it correctly. It is the principle of ABA, of positive reinforcement, and they are doing it at a much larger scale.
Right.
They are collecting data, and ABA is a science which is based completely on data. We take decisions based on data.
Okay. So how do
Yeah.
you collect this
So
data?
So we train our staff. There is a whole science behind it. We learn which data to collect, how to collect data, how to make graphs. And on the basis of all that data, we take decisions for the child. I can take data on the duration, how long is a behavior happening for
Mhm.
example, crying or sitting. Second thing can be how many times is the behavior happening? For example, how many bites is the child taking independently if I'm working on making him eat independently?
Okay.
Or how many times is he pinching? Or how many times is he hitting? So these are the different types of data that we can take. And one can be rate, like in these many minutes, how many times is the behavior happening? So these are the different types of data collection measures that we take. It also helps us in building the fluency. So if a child is able to do only two math sums in 5 minutes, that is not a very good rate, right? We want
Right.
the child to finish the work in a certain amount of time. So
Right.
using these tools, we can increase how many responses the child will do in a certain amount of time.
Okay. And then how do you
Yeah.
evaluate the progress?
So as I said, we collect a lot of data, and we only rely on data. Sometimes a therapist might say, I think he can do it, or I feel he knows this. And
Right.
sometimes when parents also come, they say, I think he can do it. We do not believe that. We take it, and we make our own observations, and we take proper data on it, whether the child can do all the steps or cannot do all the steps, or what are the areas where he needs help. So on the basis of that, we set target, and for each learner, the target will be different depending on his or her skills. We set the criteria, and after it is an ongoing process. It is not like
Right.
for 3 months I will not look at the evaluation of this child. It is an ongoing process as we see the child is making progress, because the
Mm-hmm.
data tells us we need only 3 days of positive responding, like independent responding from the child. And if we can do that, we move on to the next target. So it
Okay.
is a very ongoing process. There is nothing like a set amount of time that I need before changing an intervention plan or before changing the target for my learner.
And it's heavily relies on evidence. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. So this data that I'm talking about is evidence. Yes, it's lagging a little bit. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Please continue.
Oh, yeah. So this data gives the evidence because do you remember in the beginning I had said that the behavior that I'm going to define needs to look exactly the same to everyone in the room.
Right.
So if you're collecting data on something, I'm collecting data on something, we both are looking at the same thing. And if it is child can do it, I collect the data a certain way, and over the time we see the data that you have collected and I have collected. If it is matching, that means that yes, the child can do this skill. So it is not like you were in the room or I'm in the room and we are like, I think the child did 4 steps out of 10. Then you say, no, I think the child did 6 steps out of 10. It is not based on the assumption. It is not subjective at all. It has to be very objective on the numbers. So
Right.
it's like any science. We need numbers in physics. We need numbers in maths to make those
Right.
decisions. So it is the same. It is a science. So we need numbers science also.
Pratibha, can you repeat your last sentence? I think there's a network error. Pratibha, can you hear me? I can't hear you. Yeah, now I can hear you. Now I can hear you, yes. Could you please repeat the last part that you had said?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Mm, okay.
Can't.
Okay. So you're saying
No,
something?
I couldn't hear you.
So I was saying
Okay.
that. So I was saying that all the sciences need data, whether it's
Right.
physics, maths, chemistry. They all rely on some sort of numbers to make decisions.
Right. Can't hear you.
Okay.
I'm going
The
to
same
reconnect
way
you.
ABA is also a science. There are some experiments that are done, and on the basis of those experiments,
Ah, I'm so sorry, everyone. My speaker got disconnected. I'm just reconnecting her. Yeah, Pratibha, can you hear me? Pratibha, can you hear me?
hi, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes.
You were talking about how science and math all rely on
Okay.
data and they conduct experiments for it.
Yeah. So the same way ABA is also a science, and to qualify as a science, we also need some experiments. We also need data to make those decisions. So we really heavily rely on data.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Pratibha, now I want to ask you about specific behavioral issues. If you could give us some strategies for how to handle that. You had mentioned that there are many times that some children might pinch, push, hit. So, how can we address such behavioral issues?
So as I had mentioned earlier, we need to identify why
Right.
is the child engaging in that behavior.
So, let's say we
Right.
found out that the
Because
child is
I
wanting
can
to.
engage in the same.
Sorry, let's say we found out that the child is wanting to avoid this particular situation. That's why the child is hitting. or maybe the child is getting bullied, so this is the child's way of expressing the frustration.
Okay, so if we look at this situation, we see that the child is engaging in this behavior to get away from that situation.
Right.
He doesn't want to be in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So over there we can teach child a replacement behavior for getting away from that situation. That can either be don't do this, I don't like this.
Okay.
So these are some, if the child can speak, of course, we can teach the child to use these words rather than directly going and hitting someone else.
Okay.
Yeah. And he wants to see, this is a form of communication for him. He doesn't know how to communicate otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
So that is how he is taking out his frustration.
Right.
So we always need, I cannot actively work on reducing one behavior. I also need to give the child a replacement behavior for that.
So we'll also have to work on developing
If,
the
for
child's
example, if I'm
communication
telling you,
skills.
yes, I cannot always tell the child, don't do this, don't do that. No, no, no,
Right.
don't. We also need to work more on telling the child what to do.
Right.
And sometimes I feel that we forget to tell that to the child. And he's always like, I'm not supposed to do this, what am I supposed to do? Tell me.
Right.
So that can also be a part of frustration for kids.
And I think it's very important to focus on the positive aspects of behavior that we are expecting. So rather than telling our child not to do this, we should tell them what is an appropriate way to behave and why this particular behavior that they are demonstrating is not appropriate, so that they understand. Once they understand, they would be in a better position to actually change that behavior, to be motivated to
Yes, yes.
behave in more appropriate ways.
Yes, yes. So I will say what my supervisor told me, that out of 24 hours, if the child is engaging in inappropriate behavior for say 5 hours, rather than actively working on decreasing those hours, I can work on increasing the number of hours he engages in appropriate behavior. So automatically the number of hours he is engaging in undesired behavior or inappropriate behavior will decrease. I'm focusing more on, you do this. Sometimes what happens is we tell the child, don't shout, don't run away. Rather than using those phrases, I can say, keep a quiet, sit down. Let's keep safe hands.
Right.
So that also, the more positive phrases he will engage in more positive behavior.
Right, right. I think that works for each one of us.
So these are very, very small techniques or small changes that we can. It does, yes, yes. If someone tells me that you don't have to go there, I will feel that I have to go
Yeah,
there. It's very natural when I have cold and doctor says that I don't have to eat ice cream. I will feel like eating ice cream.
true. We want to do what we've been asked not to do, no matter how old we are.
Yes, yes.
Right, right.
Yeah, yeah. And for some kids, as asking what are the different techniques that we can use, there are a few techniques like we can use visual schedules,
Okay.
or we can use pictures for them to help them communicate what they want and give structure to their day. Some kids, they don't know what to do, and especially in COVID when there's no certainty,
Mm-hmm.
they don't know what is happening, why are they at home, what are they supposed to do. So we can structure their day by using pictures of the activities that they have to engage in. So first is making the bed, second is using the bathroom, taking shower, eating, then working on maths, then taking a break, English. So like that, we can structure their day and help them predict what is going to happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's very helpful.
And for kids who have better understanding, and for kids who have a better understanding of language, we can use some social stories
Okay.
if there are sudden changes that are about to happen. So they have to go for someone is going to come stay with them, maybe a new maid or a relative is going to stay. They can prepare the child in advance. Like, we have this person, he is going to stay with us, he will live here. Like, they can make up a scenario and then they can read it to the child again and again, so that when that happens, the child is already prepared for that,
Right, right.
and he's not like all of a sudden, who's this person, why is he here? Because a change can trigger that behavior.
True, true. Can you hear me, Pratibha? Pratibha, can you hear me?
I can hear now.
I can also hear you now. So I was going to say thank you, Pratibha, for helping us understand what is ABA, what are some of the techniques. And the part I loved the most was how simple you made it for us to understand. You did not use any of the difficult jargon for us to get confused with, but it seemed like it's very simple to practice it, and it is achievable, it is effective. And the examples that you gave were quite relatable, because these are things that we observe in our everyday lives. As adults, we might engage in those behaviors, or we might have observed our children engaging in those behaviors. So I think it was very easy to understand what you have explained and shared, and definitely it was very helpful. So thank you so much, Pratibha. Thank you for coming live with us and helping sharing your knowledge and helping us understand about ABA.
Thank you for having me here. It was great experience to be able to explain ABA, and I'm trying my little bit to help and to change.
I'm sure you will be successful.
Some
You've been able to
parents
help a
don't
lot
think
of
that
people
it
who
is.
joined the conversation. Okay, I think we are having network issues again. So I'm going to end this live feed over here, because we are not able to see and hear Pratibha clearly. Thank you once again to Pratibha and to all the people in the audience.